And then she's going to be a part of our celebration of the Torah and remembering of Joe this morning. Thanks to each and every one of you for being here. This is an opportunity to continue the lifelong, community-long journey of holding Joe Guttman, Chaim Yosef ben Chanoch Halevi close in our hearts. And as I said on Shabbat, as Joe's legacy continues to unfold in our Bayit, he who stood for Torah and community and love and family and survival and strength, one of his wishes for the continuity of his legacy was the commissioning of a Sefer Torah to be written and to take its home in our Aron Kodesh, as Joe in his way spiritually resides in the Aron Kodesh, in the holiest place in our Bayit. We're honored to have Rabbi Zelig Mandel, the Sofer, who will be completing the Torah with us this morning. And the flow of this morning is as follows. I'm going to share just a few words remembering Joe by way of telling you about the melodies that we're going to sing as we escort the Torah when it's completed in, I hope, a little less than an hour's time. Up, out the driveway, across the front of the building, in through the main lobby and into the Aron Kodesh. There are 4 melodies which to me each speak to a piece of Joe's life and legacy. Then we'll hear from Robert, really, who has been the continuer of Joe's legacy and ensured that Joe's wishes all be taken care of in the most dignified way, together with Hope. And it's so striking to me that a year ago we were at the blood drive, which was dedicated in Joe's memory. Here we are with the Torah, and I hope that each year in its way there'll be special opportunities to continue to remember Joe. So Robert will share a few words. Then Hillel, who was such a partner in ensuring that the Sefer Torah came into existence and was prepared for and received so beautifully, will share a few words, in particular focusing on the 2 adorning covers, the year-round cover and the Yamim Noraim cover, that will protect this Torah and its life in our Bayit. And then Rabavi will share some closing words. Then we have the opportunity for a few who are close to Joe in particular to come up and appoint the Sofer as your agent to fill in a letter, and we'll be able to stand alongside him as those letters are filled in, coming to the completion of the Torah. During that time, I encourage you just to talk with each other, share memories of Joe, and enjoy the refreshments that are here. Once the Torah is completed and has a few minutes to dry, we'll parade together and bring it into the Aron Kodesh, where we'll offer memorial prayers and conclude. So in a little time, the 4 melodies that we're going to sing as we escort Joe's Torah formally into our Bayit are these. The first is Torat Hashem Tmima. God's Torah is pure, complete, and whole. Joe embodied that in his continual dedication to Torah study, and in an incredible way, a faith that, despite the most unimaginable challenges, was in its way tamim, not without complexity, not without depth, but was a pure emunah and a pure connection to God and God's Torah that I feel even grew stronger with the passing of time. We'll join together in the Breslov melody of Lecha Dodi, which Joe loved so much, which members of our clergy team sang with him so often in the last weeks of his life, and which we sang as we escorted him to his burial in Eretz Yisrael. We'll sing Barchenu Avinu Kulanu Ke'achad Be'ov Panecha, because Joe so dreamed and brought into fruition the building of this community, whose message is that we all be blessed as one. Joe's vision of the tent on Friday night was always that it be a place that welcomed everyone to share God's blessings as one whole community. And finally, as we bring the Torah into the Aron, we'll sing Eitz Chaim Hi, both evoking the sense of the Torah as a tree of life, the charge to each of us to feel that we are the branches of Joe's tree, especially recognizing the word Chaim from his name, Chaim Yosef, Eitz Chaim Hi. This is Joe's tree, And we're all a part of those branches, leaves, and roots together. So we carry him in our hearts always. I can close my eyes and picture him with children, with adults, learning, teaching, guiding, and in individual conversations, challenging me, challenging us to make the Bayit the best place it could be. And if it is, it's because of him. So we remember him with love, and I want to ask Robert, and then Hillel, and then Rabbi to share words.
Thank you, Rav Stephen. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for participating in this Hachnasat Sefer Torah. It's a dedication of a gift from the Guttman estate. So many years ago, my aunt and uncle, Goldie and Joe Guttman, decided to dedicate one Torah to the Bayit and another one to a shul in Israel. This is one of the instructions they left to me as executor of their estate. And my role is to carry out their wishes and not think about the reasons or the motives of why. But there's one story that comes to mind that might be the origin of their desire to dedicate a Torah to the Bayit. It's a short story, and it's one told to me by my mother, who's here. It's early October 1939 in eastern Poland, when the German army began forcing Jews from their homes. My Aunt Goldie was 7. She must have stood by watching as her mother and father gathered their belongings. They had little time, and they had to travel light. So I imagine the German soldiers herded my aunt and her family along with all the other Jews in the village into the town square and then marched them eastward toward the River San. When they reached the riverbanks, the Germans forced them across the river into Russia, which is now Ukraine. My aunt and family most likely entered the river at a very shallow point, a place where they could walk across. Goldie's father, Isaac Silberman, who lived, along with his wife Frances, lived here many years, my grandparents, was carrying a family Torah as they entered the river. Now this is this part of the story that might have made a deep impression on my aunt. She may have been sitting in a wagon along with her other siblings as they crossed the river and saw the water rising above her father's knees, then up to his waist. And while this was happening, he lifted the Torah higher and higher, and I guess ultimately I sort of envisioned him carrying it above his head like that. He was doing that to make sure that the rising water wouldn't damage the Torah. So I also imagine that image, that scene, is an unforgettable one, certainly for a 7-year-old child. It's a true story. I thought of sharing it with you because here we are dedicating this beautiful Torah. There are, however, other genuine attributes of the Guttmans that I really want to emphasize today. And the first is an unwavering dedication to family and the Bayit. Family above all is sort of their motto. They thought of the Bayit, and many of the people here in this room, as family. For those of you who read Superman comics as kids, this Bayit for Goldie and Joe was like the yellow sun that gave Superman his power. This Bayit energized them. It gave them purpose, and they talked about it, and they talked about the people here all the time and with genuine love. Another attribute is the pursuit of knowledge, particularly about Judaism. Henry, their son, was an avid reader. His preferences spanned fiction, history, philosophy, science, Talmud, just about everything, including the back of cereal boxes. Wow. And my Uncle Joe, I think as many know, participated in Rabbi Linzer's Daf Yomi class for many, many years, and I think it may have been 2 or 3 cycles. It was a long time. This pursuit of knowledge and understanding of the guiding principles of the Torah led to one more attribute, and that is benevolence, particularly to institutions in Israel that feed the hungry and support those in need of a little extra help. Each of the Guttmans, Joe, Goldie, and Henry, cared deeply about the less fortunate. Compassion and action for the people of Israel defined their lives. Their legacy includes gifts to several institutions in Israel that we hope will make favorable differences in the lives of people who need some help. Thank you for joining us in this dedication.
Morning, Mazal Tov to everybody. I'm glad you mentioned your uncle and aunt's commitment to dedicating the Sefer Torah. It's not well known that, I would say more, about 30 years ago, Joe and Goldie approached us at the time to dedicate the Sefer Torah then. Turns out the needs at the time were very different in the life of the Bayit, and I would say that the funds that they would have dedicated to running the Sefer Torah went into other directions. I recall through the dedication of the ambulance on Henry's passing, that's about 16 years ago. So today we're really getting together and fulfilling a deferred commitment that they made many, many years ago. So, and thank God we've gotten to this point, and thank you for doing this for this Bayit Knesset, following, of course, your Uncle and Aunt's instructions. I wanted to speak a little bit about the dedication of the covers, and the choice of inscription is not an arbitrary choice, and in fact, just a little bit about the shul's dedications in general. If you look at the parochet of the shul, there are 4 inscriptions that are in there. I could go through it if you want, but they basically address the central core mission of this shul. In those days, when we did this 20, 30 years ago, we spoke about Torah, outreach, activism, and Eretz Yisrael as core missions of the shul, and there's a pasuk or a part of a pasuk in the parochet that reflects each of those missions. And maybe we articulate it a little differently today, but the essence of the shul has not changed in all these years under the direction of Rabbi Weiss and now with Rabbi Exler. The Sifrei Torah themselves, several of them have psukim or passages or partials of psukim that reflect either the provenance of the Sefer Torah or the wishes of the donor of a particular Sefer Torah. It's not all of them, but I will mention some of them. So, for example, my list here, we have a Sefer Torah that was dedicated, which its origins was the Camp Sedgman, Alav HaShalom, and the Bornstein and Bloom families were instrumental in getting the Sefer Torah that was from Camp Sedgman and donated it to the shul. So if you know, Camp Sedgman, the motto of the Sedgman camps was Yefet Talmud Torah, Yefet Talmud Torah im Derech Eretz. And that is the inscription that we have on that Sefer Torah. The Bernstein family, that's represented by Maya. Isn't that Lewis and Gaia? Couldn't be. So Lewis and Gaia were instrumental in bringing over from Parkchester a Sefer Torah and donating it to the shul. And the inscription on that Sefer is, it says the following: Anistarot Lad Hashem Elokeinu V'aniglot Lanu Uvanenu. That's the meaning of that is totally hidden to me. But the Bernstein family can explain that. And their choice of, and we also have a separate inscription for the white covers that we use over Rosh Hashanah, and each family basically chose a word, and I'm going to get back to that. So the word on the Bernstein Sefer is Ahava, love, a family who represent love, and that was their choice. We have one of the most interesting Sefer Torah was given to us by the Kinneret Day School. Kinneret Day School and the Shul of a long group association, and when Rabbi Asher Abramovitz was principal of the day school, he was instrumental in donating to the shul a Sefer Torah. So how did we encapsulate the origins of that Sefer Torah? On that Sefer, which is a big red one in the shul, we write the following: Zamru ad Hashem b'chinor, b'chinor v'kol zimra. A pasuk we know well from the Hilim, which we recite in Kabbalat Shabbat, the connection between the kinor, the violin, the harp, and kinneret. So that is another one. We have a Sefer Torah that came here from the Williamsbridge Jewish Center, another non-functioning shul out in the East Bronx, and Judge Israel Rubin, Russ Rubin was instrumental in getting that over here. So the white cover has the word mishpat, representing the justice of Judge Israel Rubin. And most recently, we dedicated the Sefer Torah to the Rabbi and Toby, and the inscription on the Rabbi and Toby Sefer is the following: Et achai anochi mevakesh. From Parashat Vayeshev, I seek out my brothers, and for us that really represented the essence of Toby and the Rabbi, who in their life mission, I could say the core of their being is reaching out to the other and to embracing all of Am Yisrael. And that, by the way, is also reflected in the Barocket itself. We have that code as well. And the cute thing about that code is the word Achai has the initials Abraham, Chaim, Yosef, which are our rabbi's initials. Chaim Yosef happens to be Joe Guttman's name. So let me get to the Sefer Torah and the covering that we have for this Sefer Torah, which we did in discussion with Robert. Oops. So, as Robert mentioned, the essence of Joe Golding was really commitment to learning, and the pasuk here coming from Pirkei Avot is Asay Torah Keva. You should make your Torah something permanent, something regular, and that was Joe. As you know, attending Daf Yomi and always in learning. So this was the most appropriate description that we could provide for the Guttman family. And this cover, of course, is executed by the same artist who's done all the Sefer Torah and the rocket upstairs. So you will see it will blend in beautifully. And to the white cover. So we had, kind of interesting the way this worked out. We decided, I think it was 3 years ago, we did the white covers for all the Sefer Torah, and we put on each one of them a single word that represents some attribute that certainly we should aspire to. I mentioned Ahava. We have one from the Kretzfelder family that says Yirah, which is awe. We have Tzedakah. The Rabbi Toby's has the word Chesed, which is, and we had a list of words and attributes, and it turns out the word Chaim was on that list, but it never really made it to a Sefer Torah. Happily, it didn't, because we were able to inscribe the white Sefer Torah with the word Chaim, which of course was chosen name, Chaim Yosef ben Chanoch Levi. So that is the two covers, and I thank David and the family for getting us to this point, and for all of us, it's a great day and a great simcha. Mazal tov.
Siman Tov, Mazel Tov. Robert, although I wasn't there when Yitzhak Yehuda, my dear, dear friend, carried that Torah, lifting it above his head to make sure it would not be ruined by the waters, I saw him do that. This Bayit is only about a mile from the Soviet residence. And during the Soviet Jewry movement, it was our custom. Every few weeks, we would march up to the Soviet residence, and we would, as my father would say, let him have it. We would protest. And we especially did so on Simchat Torah. It was the final Hakafah. And there was this one Simchat Torah that Reb Tzvi Yehuda, who was then on an age, he insisted on carrying the Torah. And as we neared the Soviet residence, about 2 blocks from the residence, he took the Torah and he lifted it over his head. And I couldn't understand why he did that. And when I questioned him, That's the story he told me. That he lifted the Torah, and it was, if you will, a replication of his lifting up the Torah to save that Torah all the way back during the Shoah years. What an extraordinary kavod to be here, Robert, with family, all the family. And I'm visually having in mind Goldie, Aleh Shalom, who meant so much to all of us, and Henry. Have deep, deep memories of Joe and Goldie dedicating an ambulance that now is functioning in Israel in Henry's memory. And although Henry has left this world as well, look around the room and you'll get a sense of some of Joe's children. There were so many children in the Bayit who became Joe and Goldie's children. Writing the Torah is no simple matter. It's one of the mitzvot in the Torah when we're told, Kitvu lachem et hashira hazot. Write this Torah. I remember being in the Bet Midrash at Yeshiva University many years ago, a few years after I had received smicha, and the chief rabbi of Israel was then there. The past chief rabbi was Rabbi Unterman. And walking into the Bet Midrash was Rabbi Yoshe Ber Soloveitchik. And when Rabbi Yoshe Ber Soloveitchik walked into the room, everyone stood. Rabbi Unterman, the chief rabbi of Israel, stood up. He walked up to Rabbi Yoshe Ber Soloveitchik and he kissed him on his face, very close to the lips. He kissed him. And we as students wanted to understand exactly why he did that. And they gave us a little bit of time with the Rav Rashi, the Ashkenazi Rav Rashi. And I'll never forget what he said. What he said was the following: that when the Torah is carried around the Kehillah, people reach out to kiss the Torah. And Rav Unterman said, Rabbi Soloveitchik for him was a Sefer Torah. His persona, who he is a Sefer Torah. That's why many of the laws of burying a Sefer Torah are very, very similar to the burial of a person. And from that perspective, Robert and family, even though this is a fulfillment of the mitzvah of Kitvu lachem et hashira hazot, write the Sefer Torah, the truth is, Joe throughout his life has been writing this Sefer Torah because he was a living Sefer Torah. And I don't believe it's a coincidence that the Sefer Torah is called a shira, it's called a song. Sometimes I would walk through the streets with Joe, and sometimes we would be conversing. Other times there would be silence between us, almost like a father and son walking together. And he'd start humming a nigun. He loved to sing. For him, the Torah was a shira hazot. And indeed, that text, those psukim say that the Torah, this shira hazot, is le'ed. That's the language of the Torah. It bears witness.
Wow.
And that was Goldie and Joe Guttman. In the face of what they experienced during the Shoah, they responded with song,
Wow.
with shira hazot. They bore witness, and they were le'ed zoknish kemul as du gates dem letzten weg. Al tomahine darki achrona. Never say that you're on the last journey.
Excuse me. It's better than the shofar, ram's horn.
Very similar. Very
I don't
similar,
know.
Mark. The Torah is a calling, like the shofar is is a calling. One last word. One last word. In the Torah, Yosef, and this of course is Joe's Hebrew name, in the Torah, Yosef is separated from his father for many, many years. And at a certain moment, he's informed by his sons, by Yosef's brothers, that Yosef is alive. And the sons of Yaakov say to their father these words, Od Yosef Chai. As I say these words, my eyes are full of d'maot. Od Yosef Chai. And in the presentation of this Sefer Torah, of this Shira Hazot, we are declaring Od Yosef Chai, Chaim Yosef, Od Yosef Chai, Od Yosef Chai. You know, in the Torah, when Yosef reveals himself, he says to his brothers, Ani Yosef, I am Yosef. Ha'od Avi Chai, is Tata, is Abba still alive? And in the Torah it says, V'lo yachlu lamot oto, there was no answer. I believe that Joe Guttman offered the answer. Because Joe Guttman in his life has declared, Od Avinu Chai. Our Abba, our Ima, our God is still alive. Od Yosef Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. And so to the family, to the close family, to the larger family, we're all family. We are now witnessing the writing of not just the Sefer Torah, but the Sefer Torah as a song, and as a song of testimony, la'ed, and as an expression against all odds. That's what Od means. Od is a play on the word aid, against all odds. Od Chaim Yosef. Od Yosef Chai. Am Yisrael Chai. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Avinu Chai, Od Yosef Chai, Od Yosef, Od Yosef Chaim Yosef Chai.
We have an opportunity now to have a bite to eat. Joe always fed. Joe and Goldie always made sure we were well taken care of. So please feel free to have a bite to eat. There are a few folks who were specifically requested to fill in letters. If you have to leave soon, you can come up right now, and we'll make sure that those who were reached out to in particular have an opportunity to come up to join our sofer, Rabbi Mandel, to appoint him as your agent and to stand with him as he writes a letter on each of our behalfs. And hopefully not too long after 11 o'clock, we'll be ready to dance with the Sefer Torah and bring it to its home in the Aron Kodesh. So feel free to eat. If you want to, you can donate blood across the hall. There's lots to do in the building. And those who are filling in letters can come in turn, and we'll reconvene in a little while.
And we're going to be writing. The Torah has to be written lishma. That means you have to write the Torah specifically. You have to have in mind that you're fulfilling the mitzvah of writing the Torah, and you're writing it for the kedusha, that you're writing kedusha to the Torah. So as we write, as the sofer begins writing the Sefer Torah, he says, "L'shem kedusha to Sefer Torah." And whoever's going to be joining us today, I'm saying it myself, and whoever's going to be appointing me as an agent should also say together, "L'shem kedusha Sefer Torah." Have in mind. And as we write, we're going to be writing one letter at a time, and also, I was talking about speech and the power of words. Sofer also says each word, and it says that the words, the Kedushat Hebel Piv, the words, the Kedusha coming from the mouth of the person writing the Sefer Torah, the one that's fulfilling the mitzvah, that adds Kedusha. So by us using our holy power of speech, we're able to add Kedusha to the Sefer Torah. We're going to begin to the word Hagadol. Hachnasat Sefer Torah. So I guess we'll take one at a time, and you each will appoint me as your agent, as your shaliach, and we'll begin. Okay. And we're writing the letter Hey and the word Hagadol. Actually, the Gimel is almost so we'll do the Gimel and the Dalet, there are extra letters.
That was a beautiful
Roll and Gadol have the same letters also.
I know it's a great Torah because he's a lefty.
That's right.
We're both lefties.
We're both lefties. Yashar Torah to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're writing the word Hagadol. So the letter
He got really good. Do you guys want to say hi to Mr. Horowitz? That's fine. We'll watch him from here. We'll do our round. Thank you, Mr. Mitch.
all together?
Yeah, no mind. Nice look. Look how cool. It says, sure.
So we're writing down the word.
Very nice.
We're writing the word Hagadol.
Okay, very cool.
And the last letter, we're finishing the word. We're writing the word Hagadol. We're writing the letter Lamed.
So you guys see, he doesn't start the lamed from the bottom. He starts from the middle.
Okay, one more word is finished in the Sefer Torah.
Thank you very much. Yashar Koach. Okay, come down.
Shame. I have a special.
We use the same dish for honey.
Kriya.
Rain from it. It looks like a big Sefer Torah. So we're writing the word Asher. What happens to be my name? My name is Asher Zelikai.
Don't write, you don't write, it's just explain to your agent, and he fills it in.
Asher is one of the hardest letters,
Do
yes.
it together. Once you introduce what, Gary? Gary.
Every letter is there's a lot of halachot how each letter has to be written. It's all actually, this was all, when Moshe Rabbeinu went to Har Sinai to learn to learn the Torah, one of the things that he learned was the form of each letter. So each letter, the way you're writing it today, Kabbalah, it's all something that was learned straight from Moshe Rabbeinu. He taught it to Yeshua, and it was all taught straight down to the generations.
All right.
You need to write the line if you want to sign this.
The word Asher.
Correct. Yes.
Together it's going to make sure you have 3 minutes. Yeah, just about 20 letters.
Too many.
About 20 letters. Okay?
A race for Rami.
That's what we're up to. Perfect. Yeah, I try to go in order because otherwise it goes back and forth too much. But we happen to be up to the letter H. This is Rami.
Right, and you're right.
You're Rami. Okay. Ready? There. He has the outline, and he asked you to fill it in.
Like, it's clear where, you know, how much they were not.
Okay, Rami, that's your wish.
Let me go. I thought she was.
Yeah, go ahead. Come on.
Yes.
I was gonna fly Wednesday, but
I'm gonna tell them.
First of all, I think it's not what you do.
I'm not a good drawer. I'm not precise like that.
You don't want letters for you, letters for that. When the word Asher and Asa, Ayin and Sid.
Hope, take a picture when I I'll give you, I have my phone.
Asher Asa. The last pasuk in the Torah.
It's very and then you're talking, you're not stepping out. It's all good.
It's one of the last letters in the Torah.
Wendy might remind you.
Right here, we're filling in the letter Hey. Yep.
Jess was texting me this morning, you know, when it said Torah brought us a picture.
So we completed the fifth to the last letter. There's only fifth last word. There's only 4 words left in this Torah to be completed. We're doing it in order. It's the next to last letter. I think they wanted to save it for something. But it's the same next for each one. Letter.
No, Lewis is not here.
We're writing the word Moshe. Mem and the word Moshe. We're filling the mitzvah of writing the Sefer Torah.
Did you remember how to read? Just standing.
Okay. Moshe. Almost finished with the last line. The next to last line. This is the last complete line.
What letter is it?
The letter Shin we're writing right now. Moshe. The last time Moshe's name appears in the Torah.
He has rank here. For this, you can come on.
So much.
Finishing the next to the last complete line. So now the letter Hey and the word Moshe.
He's my photographer. I got a new photographer. Sorry, he knows me. Hit the white button. That's my
With all the technologies out there, so is there a better instrument than just one?
Good.
There are some that use, I've seen they just use the tip. Halachically.
What is the just extra better?
turkey.
This was a honey dish.
Yeah, I think I have that first. Thank you.
Grants over and both.
I wrote a letter about a year and a half ago in Muncie. I like the way you do it better because there he really wanted you to fill in the outline. I was so nervous. He did it. I wouldn't do it.
I prefer that in the rabbit. Picture on a video?
Yeah, no, it's for a shot.
So we're writing, starting the last line. Lam is the word le'ene.
Make you my shalir. Yeah, so people were filling it in, and I was not comfortable because I always was bad at that as a kid. So he said, "That's not a problem." He did it for me.
Yeah, I've done it, you know, if the owner of the Sefer Torah prefers it, I let them. It gets very dangerous. I usually end up spending another half hour at least after correcting and fixing it. You know, it's something that takes a little practice and experience, just like everything else. And you're shliach, and you're fulfilling the mitzvah of writing a Sefer Torah. Let me know.
I was under the impression that the sofer always made his own ink. You just buy it in Tufias or something?
Some sofrim still do make their own ink. I still cut my own quill. You can actually buy a pre-cut quill too.
You can get that on Amazon.
Possibly. I bought it in Williams. The sulfur supply store. Okay, so right now, Yud. We have to work for you to fulfill the mitzvah of Sivak the Sefer Torah.
See this every day.
Thank you.
Aye.
I've never been to one like this before.
Quite true,
Hachnasat Sefer
So
Torah.
you're fulfilling with this the mitzvah of writing a Sefer Torah.
I've been to like the dancing part, but I've never been to.
Oh, where they actually do this?
They're actually writing. I've seen pictures.
I watched on TV.
Maybe like one time in Bush, but I was like so far away. I was like in the back row.
That's what I do with the breasts. I stay in the
So you need another mitzvah today too.
Lots of mitzvah opportunities.
That's what it's about. We're finishing the third to last word, and we're writing the word la'enei. Eyes.
Do the letters have to be filled in order?
It's easier. It doesn't halachically have to. It's just easier because you go back and forth. It gets smudged and a little bit more dangerous. So I've seen people do it because they want to use the first letter of the name and be going back and forth.
Oh, that's what I was wondering.
I prefer not. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. How many more people are there? I just want to make sure that
We got 7 left.
there are 7 letters, and I don't think there are many people who writes the last letter. And I'm not sure who else. You're writing. You are.
I'm just watching.
We have 7 letters left. I just want to make sure that we're.
He said Rabbi one. He just wanted.
I'm not.
Rav Avi. He said he's doing the last one.
Is it kosher when it's that way?
Probably. Usually it is. It depends how it's filled in.
Is that considered an oath? That's your oath?
It is. It is. As long as there's no spaces, as long as the letter isn't split.
So it's technically right now we're already kosher.
Technically, yes. Usually I've seen when the sofer does it, they actually do leave it something, but it's not your. But here, the sofer. Yeah. But it's still, it's not. You have to make it a little darn part of the mitzvah.
But you can learn from the Sefer Torah.
Yes.
Was the whole thing written by one sofer?
I believe so. I wasn't involved in the process of writing it. It was through the first time. Hearing it writing, it just gets me to come.
Okay, so let's finish. Oh, and this is for Yantif, and this is for us.
Okay. I'm writing the word kol, which means all, which means everything. That's what I told her. It's everything.
I was going to say 4, 5, 6.
Kol Yisrael, that's the last 2 words of the Torah.
Who's there now? I went to my son.
Robin, is he a friend of yours?
And that was, I think, the only time. Maybe I was at one of those. But I just.
So we are here testing the land of
Yes.
Think about
her all the time. Yeah.
Never mind. Part of the mitzvah of writing the Sefer Torah. We're finishing the next to last word of the Torah, the word kol.
And so Yeah, like I wonder if when she came to
everything. So
that
the whole letter is up. And how many letters, how many words is it? One more word.
I started
Again, I just want to make sure that we're saving what we can.
They told us to go.
And then is there anybody else here that's waiting for a chance? And there's still 5 letters. And I just
He had a bagel in there. So bad. I did go.
beginning the final word.
Should we do it all in one?
Again, I think there, how many more are there?
You're okay.
We're okay.
Yeah.
We're happy to share.
No, you're okay. I'm not. Right. Rabbi Weiss is number 4. Rabbi Weiss is number 4.
There's 2, 3, Rababi is 4.
It's 4 and there are 5 words.
I'm happy to do it.
Okay.
Israel's father's name. Israel's father's name.
Yeah.
Which Israel?
Bollinger.
Father's name?
I definitely knew it ahead.
You can have it in your mind anyway. Whatever it is. I'm on your side.
There's no of course, when they open up more,
As long as you have it in mind.
It's a friend of ours who hasn't been doing well emotionally. His name is Israel, and as you're starting the last name Israel, I just want to give him a bracha that as you finish this Torah, that he gets a Jewish name and his Rav, and that you get back to be Mekayim, the words that are in the Torah.
Have in mind Yisrael, then Avraham Avinu. You're a bit sorry,
All together. Take all the pages together. We're not.
No, not at all. You're welcome to meet my daughter Talia. Talia, she just turned.
That's a deep number.
Talia. Talia.
word in the Torah.
The last word in the Torah just shows. Wow.
We're writing together the word, the letter sin.
And a copy of the painting as
Sin in Israel comes from the word sar, which means a leader. That's how we got the name. However you want. I mean, it is that you're taking part in the mitzvah, right?
Yes.
So that's a sure. We're writing the letter Reish and the word Israel. Well, that's the letter we just refer to together.
Oh, yeah. 2 more letters and you're done.
2 more letters and we're done.
Wow.
Tata boy. Talia, boy, look, I got.
yeah, you should see the letter.
I'm happy to report.
Some are trained, but not really comfortable with it.
Just get a picture of you and the rabbi.
What incredible skill.
Ravavi,
Ravavi, you're being summoned.
There's a Sefer Torah here that doesn't have this.
Yeah.
It's a more modern.
I know, but it
innovation.
makes it very hard for the hot
Unless it's rolled perfectly.
Yeah.
You could get.
Can I get somebody to add them?
You have to get new Atzechayim for that. They do make something that just extend.
Or I have to buy full new Atzechayim.
They do make something that just like slides in.
Is that how any sofa can do that?
It has to be ordered to size.
So I can stand in. I'll hold your hand.
Don't hold his hand.
That's okay.
You hold Avi's hand, Avi will hold his hand.
He's right here.
He did his.
He just did the olive. Everybody?
Last letter.
Oh, it's the last letter.
Avi would like everyone to join in to fill in the last letter.
Let's all join together.
Come, Rosie.
I want to.
Come, Brian, Ruthie,
I'm the only survivor here.
all of Joe's children. Come close. Bernie, come. Let's all gather around, everybody.
There's room on the
Stephen.
sofa here also.
Ezra, where's Rev Ezra? Jonathan.
Where's Julie?
We all have in mind that we're completing the Sefer Torah, which, as the Rabbi said, is one of the 600, the final of the 613 mitzvot.
May say a word to everybody.
We're writing the word, the final word. We're writing the letter Lamed, the word Yisrael, and with that, the Torah will be complete. Yisrael.
Mazel tov.
Hashem Zemina, Yeshivat HaFesh, Torah Hashem Zemina, Torah Hashem Zemina, Torah Hashem Zemina, Yeshivat HaFesh, Eidut Hashem,
תצא מנוחה נכונה על כנפי השכינה. במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים. ונשמס חיים יוסף בן חנוך הלוי, שהלך לעולמו. בעבור שכל בני הקהל מתפללים בעד הזכרת נשמתו, בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו. לכן בעל רחמים יסתירהו בססר כנפיו לעולמים, יצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו, אדוני הוא נחלתו. וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר אמן. אלמלא רחמים שוכן במרומים, אמצי מנוחה נכונה על כנפי השכינה. במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים. לנשמת זהבה בס חיים יצחק יהודה הלוי ושנדו, שהלכה לעולמו. בעבור שבני הקהל מתפללים בעד הזכרת נשמתו, בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו. לכן בעל רחמים יסתירו בססר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו, אדוני הוא נחלתו. ותנוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר אמן. אלמלא רחמים שוכן במרומים, אמצי מנוחה נכונה על כנפי השכינה. במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים. ונשמת חנוך בן חיים יוסף הלוי, שהלך לעולמו. בעבור שכל בני הקהל מתפללים בעד הזכרת נשמתו, בגן עדן תהא מנוחתו. לכן בעל רחמים יסתירהו בססר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמתו, אדוני הוא נחלתו. וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר אמן.
Joe's last trip was to Medinat Israel, which he loved so much. So we'll conclude thinking about his journey with Hatikvah.